The Snow White remake? It's not just failing, it's a full-blown disaster, and the fallout has now reached a level nobody saw coming. After a year spent aggressively defending Disney's vision for their live-action reboot, Rachel Zegler is reportedly watching it crash and burn at the box office. And according to industry whispers, she's now seeking therapy to cope with the intense pressure and non-stop criticism. But here's the truly wild part. Instead of accepting responsibility, she's allegedly pointing the finger at everyone and everything around her. And yes, you read that right. According to multiple reports, that list even includes the Minecraft movie. Think about that for a second. Rachel is reportedly suggesting the runaway success of a video game adaptation is somehow responsible for Snow White's collapse. Not the script issues, not the widely criticized promotional tour, not the controversial changes to the story, but the fact that a movie filled with blocky animations and zombie creepers is outperforming one of Disney's most iconic, beloved classics. The numbers are downright humiliating for the Mouse House. While Minecraft crossed the $700 million global milestone in under 3 weeks, Snow White has barely managed a fraction of that in 3 months. An animated legend getting absolutely crushed by pickaxes and exploding green creatures? It's a financial nightmare. But it's also triggered what many are calling a very public meltdown. It's worth remembering that the backlash wasn't always this intense. An old clip resurfaced recently from when the remake was first announced, showing Rachel visibly shaken, almost in tears, describing how overwhelming the hate felt even before production kicked off. At that moment, many felt she was being unfairly targeted. Here was a young actress thrust into the spotlight facing immense negativity just for being cast. But over the months that followed, something shifted dramatically. A string of awkward interviews, dismissive comments about the original film, and what many perceived as a tone-deaf approach to promoting the movie began to erode that initial sympathy. Even her once loyal fans started to question their support. People expected some pushback against changes to a classic, but nobody anticipated the level of deflection that would reportedly follow. According to various accounts, Rachel has subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, blamed everyone but herself for the film's reception. There were hints about internet trolls being unfairly harsh, suggestions of a difficult or hostile environment on set, and even what some interpreted as veiled remarks about her co-stars not being supportive enough. Yet, throughout the endless press cycle and subsequent fallout, observers noted a consistent theme. A reported absence of accountability for the controversial tone of the film itself, the messaging problems, or her own public remarks about the original Snow White story that seemed to alienate the very audience Disney needed to embrace. This public relations disaster and box office catastrophe isn't just hitting Rachel Zegler, it's sending shockwaves through Disney itself. Reports indicate the studio is pulling the emergency brake on their entire live-action remake strategy. Projects like the Tangled live-action film, which were already in early development stages, are reportedly being put under intense review, which in Hollywood corporate speak often means they might get scrapped entirely. This situation has rapidly evolved beyond one actress under fire. It's now seen by many as an entire business model potentially collapsing under the weight of audience dissatisfaction. Meanwhile, while Rachel was reportedly struggling and engaging in the blame game, another star attached to a box office juggernaut took a completely different path, one that seemed to instantly win over audiences. Without ever mentioning Rachel Zegler or Snow White by name, Jack Black gave a series of interviews about the Minecraft movie that served as perhaps the most polite, yet savagely effective reality check of the year. He demonstrated exactly why his film is connecting and why the cultural conversation feels so different around him. Jack Black has navigated Hollywood's PR minefield for decades, and his handling of questions about the very film that demolished Snow White at the box office was masterful. Instead of gloating or engaging in any kind of trash talk, he simply radiated genuine enthusiasm. When asked about his role, he smiled and shared his authentic excitement, describing how he immersed himself in the game, all Minecraft all the time, and how he originally played it years ago to bond with his kids. He called the experience pretty rad. That single exchange spoke volumes. He was humble, grateful for the opportunity, focused entirely on the fun and the creativity of being part of a beloved universe. There was no politics, no lecturing, no subtle shade, just pure, unadulterated joy about being part of something millions of people love. Fans immediately noticed the stark contrast in public approach. When Rachel Zegler was asked about Snow White, she often pivoted to criticizing the original film, famously calling the prince a stalker and mocking the classic story's themes as weird. She publicly distanced herself from the source material and treated her role as a platform for contemporary commentary. Jack Black, on the other hand, leaned into nostalgia, embraced the existing world of Minecraft, and simply focused on delivering entertainment value that respected the existing fanbase while welcoming new viewers. This fundamental difference in philosophy, commentary versus pure entertainment, became incredibly apparent. The divergence in public reception and fan sentiment only widened. This culminated in a viral moment when a savage yet hilarious Minecraft parody skit featuring Jack Black roasting a chicken in lava took over social media. Someone edited Rachel Zegler's face onto the chicken, with Jack Black saying, "You ever wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken? Uh-oh." The short, brutal meme exploded across platforms precisely because it captured what so many fans felt. Jack Black had accidentally become the face of what audiences actually wanted: good vibes, engaging characters, and zero preaching. While Rachel Zegler was reportedly sitting in nearly empty theaters, Jack Black was being celebrated and memed across fan communities, his approach perfectly aligning with the kind of fun, lighthearted, and respectful entertainment the Minecraft movie seemed to embody. But the fallout wasn't confined to just box office numbers and interview comparisons. Behind the scenes, whispers about a difficult production were reportedly turning into more direct comments. Even Rachel's co-stars are reportedly distancing themselves or speaking out carefully. Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, recently opened up about her experience on the film. While she didn't directly criticize Rachel, her comments were notable for what she didn't say and what she did hint at. Gadot stated the set lacked companionship and promised she would speak more about Rachel when she felt comfortable, which many in Hollywood interpreted as code for the experience being difficult. More directly, Gadot explained, "The most important thing when you are working on a film is teamwork. When you have characters like the evil queen in Snow White, you expect teamwork. We didn't really have teamwork, and there were many setbacks that we had to deal with during this entire process, and I just found that to be very exhausting." This comment adds significant weight to one of the biggest underlying criticisms that has plagued Rachel Zegler throughout this saga. It wasn't just what she said, it was often how she said it. The perceived arrogance, the dismissiveness toward fans who genuinely loved the original story, and the sense that she treated anyone who disagreed with her perspective as if they were the problem. It wasn't simply about modernizing elements, it was about alienating the existing fanbase with a tone perceived as condescending. Adding fuel to the fire, as the present situation unraveled, her past controversies began resurfacing across social media and news outlets, intensifying the scrutiny on her public image. This included revisiting moments like when she made controversial comments about people who supported former President Trump on social media. The backlash at the time was immediate, and Rachel eventually apologized, but her critics weren't necessarily convinced. Conservative commentator Megyn Kelly, for instance, bluntly called that apology fake and performative on her show. Kelly stated, "The reason we had Rachel Zegler on the docket is she's an a-hole. She came out and took a large dump on half of the country, everyone who voted for Trump, so I attacked her." Kelly and her team even highlighted a post from December 2023 featuring the winged victory statue, which critics interpreted as a self-aggrandizing message revealing Rachel's mindset despite the controversies. This and similar moments contributed to a growing public perception that her carefully curated public image might be less authentic than it appeared. Then, amidst all this public noise, came a moment that seemed to briefly pierce through the controversy. Rachel posted emotionally that her dog was suffering from a mysterious illness, asking fans for support during what she described as an incredibly difficult personal time. The post was raw and heartfelt, clearly not a calculated PR move, but a genuine human moment of vulnerability. For a brief period, the relentless audience criticism seemed to pause. People caught a glimpse of the real person behind the rehearsed press tour responses, and some fans, even critics, wondered if they had been too harsh. Maybe she wasn't a villain, but simply someone woefully